My first question is, what are some signs to look out for that a mass shooting might occur?
So, Jamie, warning signs are significant or sudden changes in behavior or personality. So that's important to keep in mind. Warning signs can include things like thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors. So some of these behaviors might include the following: suddenly withdrawing from friends, family, or activities that once were near and dear to a person. Bullying, especially if targeted towards differences in race and religion and gender. Excessive irritability, lack of patience, or becoming quickly angered. And experiencing chronic loneliness or social isolation. So these are just a few warning signs. There are yet indeed more, but I encourage everyone to visit our website at sandyhookpromise.org to learn these life-saving signs, because we know that when you see the warning signs, and you're able to report them, we can prevent violence before it happens.
Yeah, and then I guess my follow-up to that, we talked about, a mass shooting might be in a school. Why are schools such prominent places for mass shootings to occur?
So law enforcement agencies have conducted extensive research on school shootings. So I'm going to defer to them on the themes and insights of that research. But the research is important because it helps organizations like Sandy Hook Promise think about how to design prevention programs. What's critically important for educators and students to know is the warning signs and how to identify and report concerning behavior for themselves before something happens. So a couple of things to note, whether we're talking about schools or community setting, the most important step that anyone can take is being familiar with the warning signs and reporting them. So, again, law enforcement agencies have done a wonderful job of their research in terms of the themes, but we know if we're able to build knowledge and skills around identifying a warning sign, reporting to a trusted adult, we're better able to prevent school shootings that happen in a school setting or in a community setting.
And that leads right into my next question then. How can mass shootings in schools be prevented?
So everyone should know the warning signs of violence and have trusted adults or trusted peers to be able to report concerns. And so that's the first thing: become familiar with the warning signs and how to get help. The second way is at Sandy Hook Promise, we have something called our Promise Leaders, and they are champions in communities raising awareness on social media. And so we have an action kit on sandyhookpromise.org that you can use to become a promise leader and take action locally. You could also visit the In Your State page of our Action Funds online website and learn more about what you can do, particularly in Ohio and in your local community. And last but certainly not least, visit our website at sandyhookpromise.org. There are so many ways that you can take action, but once you learn the warning signs of violence, how to report is the very first step in tackling such a complicated issue.
And then my follow-up to that as well, besides the steps that you mentioned, what are some other things people can do to prevent gun violence in schools, homes, and communities?
The first is building connection. We know that oftentimes social isolation fosters feeling of loneliness and isolation, and therefore presents a number of challenges. And so really reaching out and connecting with peers. This is what we do when we're working in schools. We help educators and students understand how to identify who their trusted adult is, and so that they have belonging and connection. I think the second is understanding the warning signs. Again, we know of decades of research now, unfortunately, that there have been warning signs before these school shootings. And so educating yourself, educating others, using book clubs to convene people and have conversations is really important. And I think the last and certainly but not least, find other ways to take steps. Become a promise leader, become a champion in your local community, go to your local PTA meetings and talk about, strategies around school safety. So taking one step of knowing the warning signs and then putting that in action, no matter who you are, is something that we all can do.
Perfect. Anything else you want to add?
I just want to remind your viewers and your listeners that gun violence is preventable. There are sensible solutions that we can put in place, and it is going to take across our schools and our homes and our community, all of us coming together to understand the warning signs of violence, identifying them and reporting them. And the more we can do that, the more we can drive towards sustainable, preventable solutions. So, Jaime, thank you so much for your time today. And we are standing shoulder to shoulder with you all in this preventable issue.